And we're back. This is episode 37 of The Horror Guys. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Brian. And we've got movies for you.
We saw a lot of movies this week.
What did we see this week?
We saw The Son of Dracula, and we saw The Mummy, and we saw The Boy, and we saw Battle Royale.
Between The Mummy, The Boy, and The Son of Dracula. That'd be a fun one, wouldn't it?
Yeah. We also saw a short.
We did?
Yeah.
So,
and we should talk about these
we
things.
Should.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Because here we go. After this, before we start our feature film, we need to have snack break. And this week we have
Russell Stover.
Something a little different. Sugar-free.
Sugar-free chocolate candy.
Sugar-free chocolate mint candies from Russell Stover. Because somebody sent us an email, said we've been having too many sweet candies.
These are sweetened with stevia extract and mannitol.
Yeah, of course there's mannitol. You know what happens if you have too much mannitol?
Yeah, I know what happens if you have too much mannitol.
It's even more horrible than the movies. Okay, well these are individually wrapped in this package.
Nice.
These are, I don't know, $50 shaped, kind of thick. More chocolate than a York peppermint patty, less minty filling. I say chocolate loosely.
You know, in general, I hate sugar-free things. This is actually really good.
I was hoping to have his bag later.
I say this as someone who can't stand diet sodas and sugar-free things usually. I'd have a hard time guessing that was sugar-free.
It's good.
Yeah, these are really good. A thumbs up from me.
Definitely.
We'll have a link in the show notes where you can get some of those for yourself.
And there's no garlic in them whatsoever, which means the son of Dracula can eat them.
He could eat them too.
He could. Probably would, and he didn't seem like he was a lot of fun.
You know who else could eat them? Count Alucard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's that one.
Did you know that Alucard is Dracula spelled backwards?
No.
His brilliant disguise, but people see through it.
Son of Dracula from 1943, directed by Robert Siodmak, written by Eric Taylor and Kurt Siodmak, stars Lon Chaney Jr., Robert Page, and Louise Albritton. 1 hour, 20 minutes. And I did make a note. Was this in black and white? It was still black and white.
Yep,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But the Phantom of the Opera last week was color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're a little sketchy on their color now.
It was a time when they could choose which they wanted.
It was the blackest time. It was the coloredest of times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Color was still kind of expensive, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I had a choice between the two, I would have gone same way.
Mm-hmm.
That one probably deserved more color.
Yeah.
Well, we start out with a couple of men are at the train station to pick up Count Alucard, but he's not there.
The luggage even says
Alucard, yes.
Mm-hmm.
One of the men notices that Alucard is Dracula spelled backwards. First line of the movie, almost.
Well, he begins to piece it like
it says Alucard and it's set on its side.
Isn't that interesting? He's
Yeah.
kind of like DRA, and kind of piecing it together. They're not too swift.
No.
These people, not everybody catches on it right away. That's
It's a Dracula movie. Everybody's stupid until the end, always. Kay and Claire stand on the steps to the plantation house. This is in the American South.
generically in the South.
Yeah, even though most of these people are British, it takes place in the American South.
Mm-hmm.
The two of them
in the actual time in 1943.
Yes,
Yeah,
modern day.
Yeah,
when this was
modern
filmed.
1943.
Yeah. Anyway, they stand on the step of the plantation house and discuss telepathic communication. Kay just knows Count Alucard will be arriving tonight, and Kay is the 1940s version of a goth girl, obsessed with death and the occult.
See, and they don't understand because his luggage and these great big boxes and everything showed up, but no Alucard.
He's not there.
He's not there. What the heck?
He's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Well, Kay runs off into the forest and runs into an old witch, Queen Zemba. Does that sound like an old gypsy name to you?
Sure does.
Certainly does.
Yeah.
She warns Kay to stay away from Alucard. I see you marrying a corpse and living in a grave. She passes out when a bat flies through the room. Queen Zemba dies later that night. Kay knows that the old woman died by occult causes, but no one believes her. Meanwhile, back at the big house,
It wasn't just any bat.
No, it wasn't.
It was the bat.
Was it at this point?
Oh yeah,
It
that was him.
okay.
Yeah, there was Dracula. I mean, Alucard, not Dracula.
Yeah, no spoilers.
He's not Dracula. No.
Name of the movie, Son of Dracula. No spoilers. Meanwhile, back at the big house, there's a lavish party going on, and the Count arrives outside.
In human form.
The Colonel, a frail old man, is tired and heads to bed early. A bat flies into the house and smoothly changes into Dracula, of all people.
And this is the first time on film that he makes a change.
And it's a
first
very
Dracula.
well done effect.
Yeah, it
looked
was.
good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it
all
was
black and
smooth.
white, so it's probably easier than it would be today, but
Probably
yeah, it looked good.
With animation, and it was smooth. Yeah.
Just before going into the Colonel's bedroom, Frank tells Kay that Alucard is a fake. They've never heard of him at the Hungarian embassy. Word comes down that the old Colonel upstairs is dead. The Colonel has marks on his throat. Alucard knocks on the front door. He's arrived officially now. Kay inherits the Dark Oaks plantation, and Claire gets all the money. Kay just wanted the building.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Brewster calls a Hungarian friend, Professor Laszlo, and he explains who Dracula was, and that this man cannot be that Dracula.
No. They killed Dracula. Never see him again.
Yeah. Claire explains to Brewster that Kay isn't really planning to marry Frank. She wants Alucard. I don't think they've even met yet. They go to check out the guest house where they suspect Alucard is staying. The large trunks and suitcases are gone. Brewster asks Claire to leave the plantation and come to live in town. He wants to force Kay to do the same, even if that means declaring her insane.
I guess that was easier to do in 1943.
If you're a woman, sure. Kay goes into the swamp and the coffin rises up out of the muck. It's kind of a neat scene, too. The coffin just rises up.
And it's a locked coffin.
Mm-hmm.
He gets in and out of it by turning into mist.
Yeah, it's padlocked shut so nobody else can get in or out.
It's a neat effect. Yeah.
Which is smart if you're Dracula. Instead of all that open and close and anybody can get in and stake you.
Yeah, any time of day.
Yeah. Well, they get into her car and go to the Justice of the Peace. They get married just like that. Alucard talks about their lives going on through eternity, and he's leaning in for a bite or a kiss when Frank shows up. He doesn't take the marriage news very well.
No, he doesn't.
He was expecting to marry her himself.
Mm-hmm.
Alucard throws him into the next room, and Frank shoots him 3 times with a pistol and then runs away.
And another side note, this was the first time that a Dracula shows superhuman strength in any of the movies.
Yeah, they're still doing firsts with this.
Mm-hmm.
The bullets go right through Alucard and hit Kay, who is standing behind him. Alucard doesn't even flinch. The bat follows Frank through the swamp, and Frank passes out in the cemetery. But
luckily
Alucard
where there's crosses.
Can't go near because of the cross-shaped tombstones. Later, Frank stumbles into Dr. Brewster's house and tells him everything. Kay is dead. Alucard sets up a coffin with soil and lays her in it. He's starting to bury her as Brewster drives up. Brewster finds a box of dirt in the basement, but Alucard brings him up to the bedroom where Kay is sitting up in bed reading.
Feeling better now.
Kay, not so dead anymore.
Undead.
Kay explains that she's tired of Frank and that she's not going to be seen in public much anymore. Alucard tells Brewster not to come back. Get out.
Yeah.
Frank turns himself into the police for killing Kay, but Brewster says that's not true because Brewster just talked to her. She's fine.
Yeah, so it would seem.
Yeah, Frank and the police go over to the house and look around. One of the cops goes into the cemetery to the crypt and opens up a lid, finding Kay inside, dead as anything.
Is she dead or is she not dead?
Yes.
Oh, yes, she is.
Professor Laszlo arrives, and he thinks Alucard is a descendant of the original Dracula. He explains the vampire rules and how to kill him. Alucard appears in the room with the two during the conversation. Laszlo pulls out a cross, and Alucard poofs away.
And that seemed like a little bit oblivious. they're standing there talking,
And he's right behind us, isn't
and
he?
well, yeah, I mean, it just seemed awfully oblivious of them.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're
Comes in-
missed and you become a person
comes in through
silently,
the-
it's not like you're leaving footsteps.
Yeah, I guess it was a silent transition, but still, all of a sudden, and they continue talking for a little bit, and oh,
Hello.
it's Alucard.
A lady rushes in with her small son, and he's got bites on his neck. Frank is bitten by a bat and sees Kay in his cell. She says she really does love Frank. She was only using Alucard to become immortal.
Mm-hmm.
She planned the whole thing so she and Frank could become immortal. She wants Frank to track down and kill Alucard from her. And at this point, it could be a trap, or maybe she's serious. We don't know.
We don't know.
Claire goes to see Frank and says that she's going to have Kay cremated. That's rough.
Yeah.
Frank freaks out at hearing that. Kay says they may have to kill both Dr. Brewster and Claire. Laszlo and Brewster push for an immediate cremation. Frank escapes jail, and they find Kay's coffin in the morgue is missing. Somebody's taken it. Frank finds Alucard's coffin, and Alucard shows up. Frank sets the coffin on fire, and Alucard can only spend the day sleeping in his soil in the box. The sun comes up and kills Alucard. Poof.
We'll never see Dracula again.
Frank then finds Kay
Gone.
asleep in her coffin, and he burns that too. A happy ending for pretty much no one.
Nobody.
Yeah, not a good ending.
It was awfully grim.
Did you like it?
Overall, yes, but I didn't completely buy Lon Chaney Jr. as.
Well, he's not actually Dracula.
I know
He is
he's
the
not
son.
actually. I know he's not
Okay.
actually Dracula, but as a sinister, scary vampire creature of the night,
He's pretty laid back.
he's so laid back, and he's just kind of a big teddy bear of a guy. I think he's very good for the werewolf guy,
Mm-hmm.
but as a vampire.
I think
Dracula wannabe.
yeah.
I just didn't completely buy him in that role.
they've got these horror actors in their stable, and they have to use them.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't think he was good at. I don't think he was a very good Frankenstein either.
not
I think
as
he was good in the Wolfman, but that was
Yeah.
about it so
Mhm.
far.
Yeah,
Well, we watched this one on iTunes, and it was really sharp and clear. Very good video on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Lon Chaney was okay in this one. The effects here were very good. Changing to and from a bat, switching to mist form, it all looks good.
Yeah, it does.
The plot made sense. The plot did make sense. The story was good. The acting was fair. But it wasn't really great either.
Yeah, like
I'd put this way down in the middle of the Universals. Maybe on the lower side of in the middle.
It lacked greatness. A solid 5.
Of just the Universal films that we've seen so far, I would give this maybe a 4.
Yeah.
Typical compared to everything else, 5.
Yeah,
Good, but long
No.
way from great.
it lacked greatness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
by quite a bit.
yeah.
Well, we moved from Dracula over to another classic monster.
The Mummy.
Not
Not
the
the
Boris Karloff
Universal.
one.
Not
No.
the Universal Mummy, though.
1959 Hammer film.
Hammer.
It's Hammer time.
Yeah.
Directed by Terrence Fisher, written by Jimmy Sangster, stars guess who?
Who?
Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee.
No. In a Hammer film?
And Yvonne Furneaux. 1 hour, 28 minutes.
Huh.
Yeah, those guys are in everything, aren't they?
A lot. They were a lot of those Hammer films.
Universal seems to recycle the same 6 or 7 people. They've got...
Hammer recycled these two a lot.
I don't know if it's even recycle if you just use them in everything.
This one was in color, though.
Well, yeah, 10-something years later.
Yeah.
Starts in 1895 on an archaeological dig in Egypt. Who'd have thunk for a zombie, or not a zombie, a mummy movie.
Yeah.
They find a badge of the Karnak Guards. They must be in the right place.
They must be close.
John's
Yeah.
leg. John is Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing.
And everybody keeps calling him the boy, and he's in his 40s or
Yeah.
50s at this point.
That's kind of funny.
Is he supposed to be a young guy?
I think just the way of talking, and
Yeah.
they were
These
much
two
older.
old men are talking about him, so
Yeah.
he is a boy to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
John's leg is broken, and the others want him to go to town to see the doctor, or it may not set correctly.
Not when we're this close to the discovery of my life. Yes.
John's father, Dr. Banning, has been searching for decades for this tomb. The man in the fez, there's always one.
In these movies, yeah.
I need to order a fez. We should have had a fez for
Oh,
the
we
video.
should have had fezzes for this one. Oh.
Yeah, people think we were doing Doctor Who now. The Mummy has totally been ruined by Doctor Who.
Fezzes are cool.
The man in the fez insists that they stop digging. He insists that they are all in great danger. He who robs the graves of Egypt dies.
Especially this grave. This one's special.
Yeah.
Yeah, under special protection.
They go in and they find some bones. They look closer and find the royal seal of Ananka. They open the door and find an undisturbed treasure room. Joseph goes to tell John while Bannon finds the scroll of life. The door closes behind him, and the men outside hear a scream. When they go in, Banning is alive, but babbling like an insane man.
It's almost like he saw, a walking mummy or something.
Something he shouldn't have seen.
Yeah.
We skip ahead in time, and John's leg is mostly healed.
3 years.
It's not healed well,
Yeah.
so yeah.
And they're in England now.
Should have seen that doctor.
Yeah.
The doctors think Banning's madness is now permanent. 3 years.
If I could make a comment, when they strip the tomb, they take all the stuff out of the tomb, and what Sam Hill kind of archaeology? They take everything out of the tomb and then dynamite it.
They blow up the empty tomb.
They blow because it has no value, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, what? That's not how archaeology works.
We say that a lot on this show, don't we? It's not how that works.
That's not how that works.
Yeah,
That's
they take all the goodies out.
Yeah.
And they don't search for hidden rooms. They don't have tour groups going through it. They blow it up.
But the walls were painted, and there was the structure of the tomb, and just blow it up. We got the stuff out.
I think that's their way of saying we're done with this set right now.
Yeah. They were.
John has plundered all the treasure and intends to blow up the tomb with dynamite. Oh, wait, that's standard archaeological practice, right?
Yeah.
I made a note on that, too. The Fez man swears to his gods that he will get revenge on the men. He has taken the scroll of life. Yeah, Banning saw it, but Fez man took it.
Yep.
3 years later, back in London, John goes to see his father in the nursing home. He wants to talk about the mummy he brought to life when he read the scroll. The old man has come to his senses somewhat, and he wants to tell about it.
Yeah, a little bit.
The words of the scroll woke it up, and now it will kill all of us. Someone has found the scroll, and the mummy will be released again, he says. But he's insane, so nobody listens.
Yeah.
We see two old drunks talking about carrying some strange relics for a foreigner in a fez. They go outside, get in the wagon, and head up the road. Is it legal to drink and drive a horse-drawn carriage? It's sort of like a self-driving car,
in
isn't it?
1898? Probably didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old Dr. Bannon seems to sense the mummy is on the move. The drunks crash their cart, should have been illegal, and the box of Egyptian relics is dropped into the local swamp near the nursing home. Later that night, Fezman prays to Karnak. You know, the Egyptian god Karnak. He's the one with the big turban and the envelopes, right?
Was that Karnak?
I think it was.
Oh.
I think so.
Well, anyway, they messed up. Karnak, there was a city named Karnak. There was no Egyptian god named Karnak.
No. Yep, very much so. Yeah. It's C's. C-A-R-N-A-C. Okay. Karnak. Yeah, it's the same name.
This is with a K, but it's the city. But it's a god anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
A real entity. It's given Fez guy power, and it's reanimating Mummy Christopher Lee, and yeah.
You know, if you pray to your god and you see the mummies come to life, that's pretty validating.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, so the mummy rises from the swamp, ready to destroy those who desecrated the tomb of their long-dead queen. Banning has been locked up in a padded cell. The mummy homes in on him easily and pulls the bars off the window.
Yeah,
he's strong and he's fast.
Yeah, he's angry.
He moves pretty quick for a dead man and kills Banning easily. John then reads the Book of Ananka to his uncle. We see a flashback of Karas, the priest and chief follower of Ananka.
That was a pretty cool flashback scene. Peter Cushing narrating
Big budget,
that. Yeah.
He prepared Ananka has died, and Christopher Lee, Karas, has prepared her for her mummification and burial.
He's the head priest.
Yes. And he's like a head taller than anybody else.
Yeah, he was.
Always.
Plus, then, a headdress on top of that, too.
Hat,
And, he's like 8 feet tall.
The procession entered the tomb, and then they kill all the slaves to help keep the location a secret.
Mm-hmm.
That night, Karas broke the seal and entered the tomb alone and in secret. He had been having an affair with the queen. Karas opens the sarcophagus and reads from the Scroll of the Dead to bring her back.
Scroll of Life. It's the Scroll of Life.
It is the Scroll of Life,
to bring her back, yeah. Because he loves her so much, he wants to bring her back to life, which is forbidden. Just
then, the other priests come in, and they take him hostage. They cut out his tongue and bury him alive in a special tomb. You know what they build in this tomb? You think they made that little room in there just because they might need it? Yeah, it's the just-in-case tomb.
Yeah, just in case we have to do this for somebody, yeah.
Meanwhile, the Fez Man sends Karas out to kill another desecrator.
Yeah, it's kind of, he's doesn't really have much of a mind of his own.
No, he does what he's told.
He's animated and he does what he's told pretty much.
Yeah. This time, a poacher sees him and tells the other villagers about it. Karas breaks in the door and kills John's uncle, whose name I never did catch.
Yeah,
he's
I don't think
Uncle
I did either.
John's uncle.
Yeah.
John shoots it several times on the way out.
Kind of a funny story about that I read in the trivia about when he breaks in the door like that. Christopher Lee, I guess, got pretty banged up during this. First, there's the swamp. There's the bog. There's some stuff a couple times in the bog. Well, there were pipes under, and he banged up his shins and knees pretty bad because it was all murky and he didn't know where he was walking.
The swamp bubbles, swamp gas.
Loops and stuff.
The bubbles had to come from somewhere.
Yeah. So he banged up his knees and his shins. Well, they screwed up when he bust through the door. Just before the scene was shot, one of the crew members mistakenly bolted the door shut. So it was a lot more solid than he thought, and he busts through, but he dislocated his shoulder. And also, at one point, Peter Cushing shoots him with a shotgun, and the squibs are especially big, and you could tell the difference in those squibs. And he got burns from the two squibs.
He paid for this movie.
And on top of that, and I guess this was after the shoulder, he picked up the girl wrong and hurt his back, strained his back, picking her up.
And still he came back for more movies afterwards.
Yeah.
He really was immortal. Well, then, John explains the whole story about what happened 3 years ago in Egypt to the inspector, except this time we see Karas in the tomb awaken and attack Banning. It's a scene we didn't get to see earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We also see Fez Man steal the scroll. John explains that he's probably the next to be killed.
But he's got a shotgun.
Yeah. The Egyptian then sends Karas out for the third and final assassination.
But there's a lucky twist.
Yeah, John notices that his wife, Isabel, looks exactly like Ananka. Of course, there's a very careful hand-drawn sketch in the book that just looks just like his wife.
Mm-hmm.
The mummy breaks in and John shoots him again and then runs him through with a spear. The mummy doesn't care and grabs John and is about to kill him when Isabel runs in and shouts for the mummy to stop.
Luckily, she has her hair down for the night, too. That's a key thing to her hair. The long hair like the queen had.
And he stops and obeys her.
It's close enough where Karas thinks that it's her.
Yeah. Mummies don't see well.
Yeah. Well, and he doesn't have much of a mind left after all those years, and Yeah, but he recognizes her.
John tracks the mummy and the Egyptian to the big house on the hill. Karas is upset and almost doesn't listen to the Egyptian. The Egyptian doesn't realize John is still alive. Not only that, but then John rings the doorbell and introduces himself to the Egyptian.
That's kind of an awkward moment.
Wait, aren't you dead?
Wait, what are you doing here?
The Egyptian wants to discuss the difference between archaeology and grave robbing. John starts insulting the third-rate god, Karnak, and it's now clear that the two are having a very civilized battle of wits.
Yeah, he's trying to egg him on to get him irked enough to make a mistake or give something away.
I was expecting Your Mama to come out, and it never did.
No,
they're a little too civilized
too polite,
for that.
Too polite, too British, and
John leaves, and the Egyptian is furious.
Mm-hmm.
He wakes up Karas and heads for John's house. He attacks John again, And again, Isabel orders him to stop. The Egyptian orders Karis to kill her, too, and he turns on the Egyptian, essentially cracking him in half over his knee.
Yeah. Crunch.
He then lumbers out, carrying Isabel toward the swamp. Isabel wakes up and he releases Isabel, and all the cops in the county shoot Karis at once, causing him to fall into the bottomless swamp along with the scroll.
Never seen again.
The end for the Mummy forever.
Yeah. Happy ending for the...
Till the next sequel.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I did. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
How did it compare to the black and white Karloff Frankenstein?
Ooh. Mummy, you mean?
Yes, Mummy.
Yes. I liked the Karloff better, but this was a real close second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, the Mummy had the romance and all that stuff behind it. And yeah, I thought it was good. I liked seeing it in color better.
Yeah, yeah.
The Mummy makeup was good.
Yeah, creepy. Yeah.
Well, actually, Karloff, he was only in the rags like in one scene.
Yeah.
The rest of it, he was
took
just
him
sort of
off
that
and-
wrinkled old man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. This one here,
Christopher Lee's
the
in
Mummy
the rags
was
the whole time.
Mummy the whole time.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Basically, I thought it was like Frankenstein in rags. It's the
Little
same.
bit.
He lurches and he does what he's told, and he's not
super
real
strong.
smart.
Yeah.
Instead of going to the little girls in town, he goes for Isabel. It's kind of the same thing in a lot of ways.
Yeah, some real similarities.
This all looks expensive and detailed. The scenes with the burial practice and procession were pretty elaborate, and the props alone looked quite expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
The
put
mummy makeup and costume looked excellent,
money and effort into this. Yeah.
but quite different from the Universal Mummy. You can still make out Christopher Lee's face under there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just rags. The plot wasn't close to the original Mummy movie, but does have similarities to some of the later Universal Mummy movies.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't done any of the later Mummy movies. The only one we've done
yet.
so far is the original. But several of the later ones with... I can't think of the mummy's name right now. Maybe it is Karis.
I think it's Karis.
Yeah,
they borrowed. They had to
it's
pay
not
some
Imhotep
royalties
like
to
the original.
They had to pay some fees to Universal or make a deal
Yeah.
with Universal to use the name Karis.
But this one borrows from several of those older movies. So, yeah, we're going to have to do those sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe wait for Mother's Day and do like the Mummy's Hand, the Mummy's Tomb, the Mummy's Curse, and the Mummy's Ghost.
For Mummy's Day.
For Mummy's Day. I don't want to wait that long. We should do it soon. We've got them all. We just need to do them.
Mm-hmm.
Did we see a short film this week?
We did see a short film.
What was it?
Backstroke.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. 2019.
Directed by Robbie Barkley, stars Josephine Christopherson, Shamar Jonas, and Tom Frank. 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
A long one by our standards.
And very good.
Link in the show notes for YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You liked it?
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
It had a story.
Mm-hmm.
It had characters. It had a beginning and an ending.
It did.
It was a story.
The things that I like in a story.
Yeah. A couple run off in a stolen car. The girl keeps getting calls from her mother. She wants to see the ocean, and he pretty much knows where they're going. They find a pistol in the glove compartment, and he shows her how to shoot it. She points the gun at him and tells him to get on his knees. He doesn't like it, but he plays along. She then makes him count to 10 as she runs down the path away from him. He chases her, and she stops at the lake. She drops the gun and her clothes and gets in the lake. Amber's boyfriend doesn't catch up, but some other guy comes in and starts standing there. They talk, and she's a little creeped out since she's naked in the water and he's following her. Where is Jake?
Yeah, he's not anywhere.
The guy waits, and he's a real creep. You can tell because his shirt's buttoned
his
up.
shirt's buttoned all the way to the top
that's
with,
how you can
with no
always
tie.
tell.
Yeah, that's a bad. It's a red flag. It's not always an indicator, but it's a red flag.
Those are the people when they come to your door, you pretend you're not home.
You ain't wrong.
So the creep says the boyfriend is dead. He's done something to Jake. She swims away and suddenly notices the man is gone. She gets out and gets dressed. The pistol is missing for some reason. And she screams for Jake. She runs back to her car, drives off, and then she gets a call from Jake on her phone.
Happy ending.
The ending. Maybe not.
There's more.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah, it was really, really well done. Pretty lake too. Pretty woods and lake, and
Good filming,
Yeah.
good clear. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you definitely give it a shot. 10 minutes.
Yes, worth that.
So, other movies that you should give a shot. How about The Boy
The
from
Boy
2016?
from 2016, and I had never even heard of this movie before we got into this.
No, I hadn't either.
This one completely slipped by me.
I don't know, maybe it didn't have a big theatrical release.
I don't know.
Not a big name thing.
Yeah.
From 2016, so 3 years ago. Directed by William Brent Bell, written by Stacy Manier. Stars Lauren Cohen from Walking Dead, Rupert Evans, and James Russell. 1 hour, 37 minutes. And if you haven't seen this, we'll link to it in the show notes from Amazon.
You should see it.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
I did like it, yeah.
Yeah. Are we going to give spoilers?
Of course, we always give spoilers.
Okay.
Everyone does.
We're going to
at the
spoil.
end.
We're going to spoil this one, and it's better to see it unspoiled. It would be, I think.
Yeah. This one, yeah.
Yeah. Unsoiled, unspoiled.
So here's the thing: if we tell you there's a twist, that's a spoiler in itself.
We didn't say there's a twist. There's a twist. Sort of a twist, yeah.
The new nanny, Greta. People in modern day actually named Greta.
She is.
Huh.
Yeah.
Usually when I type the word great, it comes out Greta. It's just one of those typos for me.
Greta.
So the new nanny, Great, arrives at a huge house in the British country home. Mr. and Mrs. Heelshire
Awesome house.
aren't home.
Country house. Big
yes.
house. Yeah.
Not Downton Abbey level, but
Big. Yeah.
They're not home, so Malcolm, the local grocer, gives her a tour of the house. That's kind of weird. He delivers.
Yeah.
His grandmother was psychic, and he's got
It's
a
a
little
British
bit of the
thing.
gift, he says.
It's a British thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets her completely wrong when he tries to guess what she's like. He says the family is generous and nice. Brahms, the child, however, he can't quite describe. Greta's shoes disappear while she's looking around.
And they come home before he gets a chance to. He's about to kind of articulate something, and the couple comes home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mrs. Heelshire finally arrives and shows Greta to Brahms. He's a doll.
Shows Brahms,
Literally,
shows
a
Brahms
doll.
shows Brahms to Greta. You said that backwards. That's okay.
No, she shows Greta to Brahms. She introduces the nanny to the boy.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
She's secondary to the doll.
Yes. Brahms, I'd like to present your new nanny. Yes, that's right. She does do it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greta laughs at first at this joke.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Then
And
notices
she's
no
not
one is
kidding.
laughing.
Yeah.
She needs the money, so she plays along. She introduces herself to the doll, and then Mrs. Heelshire shows her around. It seems Brahms has rejected several other nannies in the past. She's to read poetry to him in a loud, clear voice, and Brahms likes his music played loud as well.
There's some rules. Yeah. You're supposed to, meal times, have him at the table and tuck him in at night. And
Leftovers
give
must
him
go in the fridge, and
Yeah,
you must give him a kiss before bedtime.
A kiss at bedtime. And yeah, it's very specific and a list of specific rules to follow.
Yeah, which later on you can zoom on, not zoom, you can freeze frame on the list and see what all the rules are, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Clearly, the husband and wife here have mental issues. No matter what it may look like on the outside, our son is here with us, Mrs. Heelshire explains. At the end of the day, Brahms likes her and wants Greta to stay.
Yeah, that's what the mom says.
Oh, he likes you.
He likes you.
Yes.
Okay. You're crazy, lady.
She calls her friend on the phone and is told that her boyfriend has been asking about her and that he doesn't care about the restraining order.
But he's back in the U.S. and she's in England, so who cares?
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah.
The next morning, the Heelshires are leaving for vacation, and Greta will be left alone with Brahms.
Well, before that, she has a really nice scene, I thought, with the dad, who's apologetic and basically
he knows it looks crazy.
Yes, I know this is crazy, but just play along, and it works for us, and especially for his mother, and I thought that was really kind of sweet and sad, and yeah, I liked that scene between the two of them.
They leave an explicit schedule and set of rules that she needs to adhere to. Malcolm will be around with supplies and can answer any questions she may have. Be good to him, and he'll be good to you. Be bad to him, and I'll treat him like my own, she says. And they're off. She immediately throws a blanket over the creepy Brahms and tells him that he creeps her out. That evening, she finds him uncovered. She takes him to his bedroom and roughly throws him in the chair. She hears a child crying late into the night. The next morning, Brahms is in exactly the same spot, but he has water on his face as if he were crying. She looks up, and it's just a leaky roof.
Yeah, for a minute there, it does look like the doll is really crying.
Yeah.
Nah.
She starts getting really bored since there's no TV, cable, internet, or even cell service. Malcolm stops by to drop off her pay. He explains that the real Brahms died in a fire on his 8th birthday 20 years ago. He'd be about Malcolm's age now. As she prepares to go into town with Malcolm, she notices the doll staring at her, and it's still creepy. While she's in the shower, her dress and necklace are stolen. As she goes looking for them, she gets locked in the attic. Malcolm comes to pick her up, goes to the door, and drives away because she doesn't answer. She's locked in upstairs, and he can't hear her screaming.
And a shout out to how well she had that towel tucked. She's got the classic, wraparound towel tuck, classically tucked here. And she's all over the house, climbing on a ladder, falls over,
She runs her head into the wall, knocks down unconscious onto the floor, and when she gets up the next morning, that towel is still tight.
Intact.
Yes.
Yeah, that's some good tucking.
The next morning, the ladder opens up and she comes down. We see the list of rules, and Greta's broken several of them by now.
Mm-hmm.
She asks Malcolm about the truth about Brahms, and he says that the kid was downright strange. Even Mr. Heelshire called him odd. She talks to her phone friend again, and Cole, the ex-boyfriend, now has her new address. That night, her missing shoes are returned, and she finds Brahms sitting up in bed next to the rule sheet. She gets a phone call. "Please come out. Come play with me, Greta." Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Mr. and Mrs. Heelshire fill their pockets with rocks and walk into the ocean. They write a letter to Brahms stating that the girl is now his to love and care for.
And they mail it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back at home, Greta has given in and is treating the doll according to the rules. She reads him stories, plays loud music. And
well, she's finally become convinced, or at least, thinking that because enough weird stuff has happened that the doll is somehow alive or haunted or something is going on there.
Possessed, or there's a ghost,
Yeah.
She reads him stories, plays the music loud, and walks with him around the house. She starts to believe that Brahms is alive.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm thinks Greta is losing her mind until he sees the doll do things too.
Yeah, she demonstrates. And
it's not just her.
They leave it alone in the room and they go back and he's moved.
Some of these movies, it's one of those, is she crazy or is it real? And she's not crazy. The other guy sees it too.
Yeah, the two of them are,
Yeah. He explains that a little girl was killed on the very day that the real Brahms burned up in the fire. Malcolm hints that maybe Brahms killed the girl and the parents set the fire to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
Cole, the evil boyfriend, shows up out of the blue. He tries to convince Greta to go back home with him. He's even bought her a plane ticket, but she's very done with him. Cole says he's never going to leave her behind. He wakes up screaming that night, and "Get Out" is painted on the wall. Cole is not amused, and he starts getting mean.
Thinks that she did it.
Yeah. She says, no, it was probably Brahms. Brahms did it. So Cole smashes the doll into pieces. He's like a China-type doll. And
Yeah. Brittle head.
The house starts making noises. The lights blink. The real Brahms comes out of the walls. He's real, but wears a China mask. Brahms kills Cole. Greta and Malcolm hide upstairs. They find a hidden bedroom inside the walls, along with a dummy wearing her dress and necklace. He's been doing all this all along.
Yep.
Greta gets away, but Brahms has Malcolm. She goes back inside, yells that it's bedtime, and he obeys. She stabs him, but he's really strong and tries to strangle her.
Takes several tries.
She stabs him again, and she goes back inside the wall and grabs Malcolm. They head out into the car and drive away. The next morning, someone has glued the doll back together and is caring for it now. The end.
Malcolm. Someone, not Malcolm. Brahms.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's somebody else.
No, I think it's Brahms. He's not dead.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I came up with a theory about halfway into the film that the real Brahms didn't die in the fire and was hiding in the house somewhere.
Yeah.
This explains the loud music, reading stories loudly, and putting food into the fridge at night, as well as the way things moved around. I was still entertained throughout, but most of the movie I was thinking, I know what's going to happen. And the bad part is I was completely right. If that's not the very definition of predictable, I don't know what is. It was entertaining until the last portion, and then it was the typical run through the house to avoid the maniac kind of movie.
Run through corridors.
Yeah.
Hidden passages and things.
Yeah. Until Brahms reveals his real self, I was very entertained. Once he came on the screen, it was just another killer.
It did, take a step backward. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So, kill any high school classes lately?
No, they kill each other.
Yeah, a lot of them should.
Battle Royale from 2000. We watched.
There are so many movies
special
that
edition
copied this and were based on this and influenced by this.
The Hunger Games was heavily influenced by that. Yeah.
Year 2000, Battle Royale, directed by Kinji Fukasaku.
It's a Japanese movie.
Yeah.
So pardon these names.
Written by Kushun Takami and Kenta Fukasaku. Stars Tatsuya Fujiwara, Aki Maeda, and Taro Yamamoto. 1 hour, 54 minutes. And Amazon link, of course. All right, well, we start out, we get a lot of exposition on the screen as we zoom in over the logo of the title.
How the world came to be.
At the dawn of the millennium, the nation collapses. 15% unemployment. 10 million out of work. 800,000 students boycotted school and crime rates soared. Adults lost all confidence in the youth, so they passed the Millennium Educational Reform Act, also known as the BR Act.
Battle Royale Act.
And throughout the rest of the movie, we see almost none of that.
Yeah, BR Act.
BR, Battle Royale. We see a girl that survived the previous games, and we're told that she lasted 2 days, 7 hours, and 43 minutes. Very precise.
Out of 43,000 ninth grade classes.
We zoom in on a class of around 40 with a very tired-looking teacher. Shuya explains that his father hung himself a few years ago. We just sort of throws that little fact in there. One entire class just takes the day off because they want to. A boy then randomly seems to stab the teacher in the hallway. This is not a great school.
No.
The busload of students on their class trip passes a bunch of soldiers on the road. They all seem like normal kids, not especially violent or disturbed, and the bus goes through a long, dark tunnel, and they all go to sleep. They've been drugged.
They've been gassed.
The driver is wearing a gas mask. They wake up, and each of them are wearing some kind of digital device on a metal collar. I thought it could look like a digital watch on a metal strap.
Yeah, a little bit.
A helicopter lands, and the students see the building is surrounded by soldiers. The teacher, Kitano, who got stabbed earlier, gets off and marches into the auditorium surrounded by armed soldiers. The entire class is there, plus 2 additional students. He punches one of the students and explains the law.
The rules.
They are to kill each other off until there is only one of them left. There are no other rules. Their current teacher was opposed to the selection of this class, but Kitano rolls his body in on a cart. This is not a good teacher. He shows them a video. And it's one of those very cheerful Japanese girls doing all the demonstrations.
You're going to be on an island.
Yeah.
And your collars will explode if you disobey.
They're on a deserted island, and one of the students doesn't shut up, so the teacher throws a knife through the forehead of one of them to get their attention.
It works.
I taught for plenty of years, and that would have worked.
Get their attention. Yeah.
We see on the screen that she was student number 18, and there are 41 to go.
Yeah,
there's a countdown.
Every time one dies or more, they give a countdown, their name, and how many more to go.
The video demonstration continues. Certain areas will become off limits at various times, so they will need to stay on the move. If they don't, the necklace will explode. We then see how this works as Nobu, kid number 7, explodes.
Yeah, the teacher demonstrates
40
it.
to go.
Yeah.
If there isn't a single survivor
It's
at
a
the end
very
of...
effective collar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works good.
Boom! Scanner light.
Well, it's not so much the whole head; it's more just kind of the neck.
It blows the front of your neck out. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just
so,
dead.
which is a good blood gusher. Yeah.
If there isn't a single survivor at the end of 3 days, all the necklaces will explode. New cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
They'll each be given supplies and a random weapon, some good, some not so much. One guy gets a crossbow, the other gets a pot lid. One by one, their names are called and they get their bags and run out. The 2 extra students are explained to be particularly dangerous. Outside, people are already fighting and dying. The countdown continues on screen. Shuya and Noriko pair off, and we get flashbacks from better days with Nobu, the kid whose head just exploded. Shuya vows revenge for all this. One of the transfer students kills a whole bunch of the others and takes a machine gun, pistol, and grenades. A couple commit suicide by jumping off a cliff, and we're told 31 to go.
And so on.
And counts down from there.
Yeah.
By noon of the first day, they're down to 23 left. The problem here is that only about half the students take the thing seriously, and the other half are just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them ask are you in love with anyone? And stupid Japanese high school melodramatic stuff like that. They just can't figure out that other person has a knife in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
We learn that the 2 special students are survivors of the earlier games. One has sworn to help others and get off the island, and the one with the anime hair is the ninja super killer. You weren't thinking that?
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Time passes, and so do most of the characters. When hackers wreck the operations center, the rules get out of control, and the adults can't tell who lived or who died.
Yeah,
the game ends a little too soon.
They managed to hack into the system from the island. So,
yeah. One of them gets a laptop, and they hook up a generator, and it's not quite realistic.
Anarchy.
I believe the rest.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
This movie was the inspiration for everything from the Hunger Games to Fortnite and PUBG.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what'd you think? Did you like it?
It was okay.
You're not going to rant on it like you did last week?
Well, it was a horrible copy the last time we tried.
Oh, yeah, with this movie, yeah. I mean, you didn't like whatever it was we watched last week.
Spiral? Yeah.
Spiral, yes.
No, it was much better than Spiral. I was entertained anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is for the gore fans, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It's a juicy, bloody murder fest. There are lots of creative battles and uses of weapons. I'm not sure how any of this helps the country as a whole, unlike the Purge or even the Hunger Games, but we're told there is a political reason for all this.
But that's a note that I have too, that doesn't make any sense the way it was presented.
There's massive unemployment, and the adults don't care anymore, and the students don't care,
but
and the
it's
economy
not
collapses.
Broadcast
this helps
for entertainment.
Somehow.
It's not a live show that's being shown. Yeah, it's not being shown to everybody, and the kids almost like they have no idea. I mean, this happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids seem to not get that this is a regular thing. Even
they act like they'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what's the moral lesson that the kids are learning, or what's the point of
it's fun to watch.
But fun for us.
Yeah. Well, that's good enough.
But it's not being recorded or broadcast or anything.
Well, it doesn't seem to be televised for entertainment, and none of the kids even seemed familiar with the idea of the game, so it's not a deterrent.
Yeah.
Other than a fun movie, there's really no point to all of this. To top it all off, most of the people have all the acting skills of an anime character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was intentional or not, but most of the students posed and screamed and bickered over nonsense that only makes sense in a manga. It was, in fact, based on a novel, not a manga.
But it was kind of like a live-action manga.
Very much so, yeah.
Beautiful island. It was, where they were.
Yeah, great.
It was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go...
I give it a weak thumbs up.
Yeah, 6. 6 out of 10.
4.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
If you like watching kids kill each other, it's fun, but there's not a lot of story there.
No.
Is that it for this week?
Yeah.
That's it for this week. Check us out at horrorguys.com for written reviews and links for our videos and our audios and all our good stuff. Get ready for next week because we've got some new movies to watch.
What are we going to see next week?
House of Frankenstein from 1944. Werewolf, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Dracula,
All
Mad
in
Scientist,
one.
and Hunchback. It's also right on the box cover.
All in the same movie.
Along with the Hammer horror classic, The Man Who Could Cheat Death from 1959. I don't think I've ever seen this one before. Have you?
I never had.
Yeah,
no.
well, you're gonna.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have the newer movie, the Banana Splits movie from this year.
And that was made as a horror movie.
The horror movie of the Banana Splits, yes.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
And our international feature, Tombs of the Blind Dead from 1972. It's an older one.
Spanish,
yes.
Correct? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know, is that one dubbed or subtitled?
I believe it is subtitled.
Okay.
I think they were. Well, I mean, there's probably both kinds out there, but
yeah.
I think it. I mean, it's probably dubbed after the fact, but I think the original was in Spanish.
I've seen that one before, and I remember it was. I liked it a lot.
Well, there's that movie, and then a couple sequels.
I've not. I saw one. I saw the second movie. I didn't see any of the
something
others.
At the drive-in.
Okay.
When I was a wee lad, and I don't know if it was this one or one of the sequels, which were fairly close, just a couple years apart.
Yeah.
The sequels, and I was quite young.
I guess we'll find out next week.
Yeah.
So watch those 4 movies and come back next week and see if your opinion matches ours. Check out our Twitter feed at Horror Bulletin and, of course, horrorguys.com. I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
And we'll see you next week.
See ya.